Hello there. I would like to talk to you about something which seems obvious to many, although it is terribly false. We tend to believe on a day-to-day basis that everything is on the net. And this is not true at all. I can relate a story about a very useful plant. One day, a plant provoked my curiosity because my father actually left it in the fields and it began to multiply. I liked the form, I liked the flower, but I had never actually seen it in person. And I know quite a bit about my land. So naturally, I began to navigate the net, searching online, searching Wikipedia, searching blog sites, personal web pages, national botanic writings related to the nation state in which I live. And I couldn't find anything about it. Even Google image comparisons and image search engines could not find anything about it. So I spent maybe a week searching, and finally on a scientific database in Italy, I actually found a small reference, a small extract from a book, an Italian book, a botanic Italian book. And I went about looking for the book, and there, lo and behold, I found the name of the plant and a drawing of the plant itself. Where do I want to go with this? That plant is actually natural to a few areas of the old world, not many. And you don't normally see it because people that dedicate themselves to agriculture tend to like clean fields. And when you have a lot of land, to clean those fields in modern days, what you actually do is use a lot of chemicals. And even the people that don't like to use a great deal of chemicals, they will perhaps maintain a field a year or two just with machines. And then when they begin production of whatever they desire, they do tend to use chemicals as to achieve a uniform production so that you don't have other plants stealing nutrients or making it hard for the roots of what you are growing to grow and such. So, what I want to get to is that it's very useful to understand your land and your surroundings in both good times and dire times. There are few people left in the first worlds that know a fair deal of their particular lands. In my province, there is only one known man, and by known I mean not well known, because there are not many people interested in this, that actually has a good understanding of the flora of my province. He is from my province as well. And he's very old. He doesn't publish books. And he has given maybe 2 or 3 interviews that at least I have seen, very short interviews. So, the more alternative folk, as they call them, natural lifestyles, green people, they tend to favor more popular knowledge. An example of this is, I know a lot of people that can tell you all about Chinese plants and Nipponese plants, and they have no clue about a few plants growing next to their margins in their own fields. A short story about this. There is a very traditional baked dough in my lands, and the common practice was to bake the dough with toppings. It's like a pizza, but it's not pizza. They call them copas. It's actually a practice well distributed in the old world, the Mediterranean lands that touch that sea. And one of these baked dough toppings is actually 3 types of plants. And these plants are not actually sold today, because it was normal for when a field worker or a family would go for a walk, or a field worker would go to work, to keep an eye on his surroundings and recollect these plants when he found them. This doesn't happen anymore. So those 3 traditional plants that are very good plants, they're actually very easy to find, and they grow in both mountains and in valleys and so forth. You can't find them. You either go out yourself and get them, or you can buy them. And I can tell you that they are very tasty plants. That topping is, it's considered to be a vegetable topping. With a bit of time and a bit of sight, you can actually take a walk and collect a few kilograms of them if you feel so inclined to do so. And there are people that would actually pay to achieve that bite of the past. Perhaps because it reminds them of their childhood, perhaps because they are interested in tasting traditional plates and so forth. But nobody is doing it, and nobody is selling them, and nobody is actually favoring the controlled production of these 3 plants. And most people, they don't even know about them anymore. And it's sad, because it's a very simple recipe, and the 3 plants are well abundant. So what I would like to instigate you to is, if you're going to take a walk, perhaps you shouldn't be so self-absorbed in your own thoughts, your own ideas and wishes. Perhaps you should open your eyes and use them, and look around where you are walking. See the little things as flora and fauna that surrounds you. Take a moment to understand this flora and fauna. And today, it's easier than ever. You can perfectly use an image comparison program to take a photo upload it, and ask the program to find similar photos to that of which you have taken. And you can get a direct link directly to a blog site, a scientific web page or magazine, Wikipedia. It doesn't matter. There are many options available. Not, as I said before, not everything is on the net. But you have many options, and it's terribly easy today. The information age, I'm not sure if they decided to call it another name, but it is called the information age, the last time I checked. It's very easy to access information. And that information is many times of good use, both in your present and your future. In your future, I don't exactly mean if something bad or something good happens or any of that. I actually mean that you can share that knowledge with others, the others that will come after you. Because there are many things that are being lost in the first world. Perhaps too many of them. And if you achieve a certain mastery of these subjects or a decent knowledge, you will always have some preparation. And as we know, luck favors those prepared. I have an example here. This is a compendium. It's volume 2. I know there are at least 2 because I have the first and I have the second. It's about a 900-page book, about 1,000 actually. And it's a compendium about the flora in my nation state. It's not a complete compendium, even with 2,000 pages in total. It's written by Lazaro and Ibiza. He was a very famous erudite, very certified erudite, member of many of societies, master of many things. And this book alone has a few things, actually more than a few things, that you don't simply find on the net. I achieved this copy maybe 4 years ago, and it only cost me $5. It's not very well maintained. Most of my old books are not very well maintained, to tell the truth. But it is complete, and it is of use. If you want to invest time in flora and understanding your surroundings, it's not just about time. You will have to also invest money and a bit of passion and interest. Maybe you need to meet a person in question that knows more than you and doesn't actually give interviews or write books. Maybe you need to find a specific book that's not uploaded to any net. And it's true, there are thousands and thousands of books that are not uploaded to the net. Scientific books, novels, many things are not found on the net. Maybe you will have to travel and seek permission to access a historical archive. It does take time, and sometimes it does take money as well. However, there are many things you can learn just with the internet that will help you, perhaps not today, but maybe tomorrow, and maybe even more the people that will come after you tomorrow. Please, I hope you take this to mind and consider that, as mentioned before, there are many things being lost in our first worlds, and it's a shame. It's a rather large tragedy, and you never know, you might even make money out of it in the future, be it as a consultant, be it as a paid interview, even in a pharma company. Pharma companies are terribly hungry for new ideas, new plans, adventurers roaming the world searching for plants never used before, or used 2,000 years ago but forgotten today. This is true. There are many plants that were used 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago that have specific chemical components that are not being used today, and they are extremely potent and extremely useful. That said, you never know what this sort of knowledge can bring you, but at least the next time you go for a walk in the fields or in the mountains, you might know what that plant is, and you might come to your house later that day or during the night and actually prepare yourself a very healthy and a very nice supper, and even amaze or surprise your commensals, the people that you invite to eat to your house, and more so these so-called green people, which I respect. But yeah, that Chinese and Nipponese example, it's pretty bad. I have a few more videos to make today, and please take this to mind, and better yet, to heart as well. Tschüss!